The 1974 Gold Cup was destined from the start to be known as the race to be remembered. This is Ray McMacken, and for the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking a look back at Gold Cup 74, as recorded by the King cameras. The tone for last year's race was set early, when Greater Seattle, for financial reasons, moved the race course from the traditional Stan Sayers Pits area to a new location at Sand Point. The controversy over that move is sure to go on for years. The sun-baked crowd didn't know it, but they were in for a very long, hot day. We had withdrawals, sinkings, restarts, fires, more restarts, no starts, and finally some of the best side-by-side hydroplane racing seen on Lake Washington. The new course welcomed 4 new hulls, and for the first time, a boat powered by a jet engine. Turbocharged Allisons showed flashes of potential, and a former champion returned from his short retirement. With the arrival of the VS-41, Seattle welcomed the first international challenge since the days of Canada's Miss Super Test. The Solo and her crew brought great hopes with them all the way from Australia, only to fail to complete a single lap of competition. With Solo in the A, or that's the slow flight, as determined by qualifying speeds, was the Maori Red Ball Express, driven by Jerry Bangs. Perennial competitor, the U-4, this time around running as the Kirby Classic, with owner Bill Wooster at the wheel. The former Notre Dame returned home, newly painted, as the U-76, the Northwest Tank Service, with Roger Deeth driving. And rounding out the slower A section was the Sunny Jim, with Tom Martin the skipper. In the B flight was Pam Clapp's U-95 with driver Leif Borgerson making his last bid to bring the dream of competitive jet-powered boats to reality. U-44, the Pizza Pete, with Freddie Alter, was Lee Shanus' number 2 boat. And as usual, Bill Munsey piloted Lee Shanus' lead charger, the U-71 Atlas Van Lines. In the Redman Tobacco was Tom Sheehy, and rookie E. Milner Irvin III was breaking in aboard the U-6, the Miss Madison. In the fast flight, C, the defending National High Point winner U-1, the pride of Pay and Pack, was smiling George Henley at the wheel, conceded by most to be the boat to beat. Owner Bob Fendler decided that his boat, the Lincoln Thrift, was not ready to race on the Sandpoint course, and he withdrew, giving the jet-powered U-95 a chance to move into the hot heat. George Simon's Miss U.S., with Tom Deeth aboard, was viewed by many as the dark horse of the field. And the biggest surprise of the pre-race week came when Les Rosenberg talked Billy, no longer a kid shoemaker, out of his short retirement and into the cockpit of the brand-new U-74, Miss Value Mart. The 5th boat in the C flight was defending Gold Cup champion and heavy favorite, the U-12, the Miss Budweiser. Promising rookie driver Howie Binns was determined to make her a repeat winner. Heat 1A was won by Kirby Classic and 1B by the Atlas Van Lines. And now we were ready for what we hoped would be a wide-open 5-boat race. We certainly were not expecting what did happen. Here's how hydro historian Mike Fitzsimmons and I called it.
Your leader is the Miss U.S. with Tom Deeth, the skipper.
Tommy can really put his foot in this. His dad, Al, was a great hydroplane driver in the 30s and 40s.
The Budweiser is dead in the water.
U-95 is going down also. Outside the south turn, the exit pin, the U-95 is going down also.
So we've got 2 boats dead in the water. The highly regarded boat, the Budweiser, just did not make it. It went right across the start line and went dead in the water about 2 points down the straightaway. So your boat race is the Miss U.S., the U-2, a surprise here with the Pride of Pay and Pack 2nd and the Value Mart number 3rd with Billy Shoemaker, the skipper. A 3-boat race going into the north turn, and this is the first lap of Heat 1C. Going into the south turn with official time, the Pay and Pack was 108.433, and it was 110.429 for the Miss U.S. Over 110 miles per hour. Mike, that boat's got it.
Yes, it really has, and this boat is doing the same thing that it did in Detroit on June 30th. The U.S. has got it all together and is running hot right now.
There goes a flare out into the water right in front of the official barge.
Stand by to see what we've got there. The helicopter swooping down upon the backstretch at the exit pin of the
Pay and Pack is slacking up, as you see in the screen, but we've got flares flying all over the place, way down in the south turn. The U-95 is sinking, we're reported. There it is, the U-95! Look at that! It's sinking! The U-95, the turbine-powered boat. Jim Clapp's conceived idea, carried on by his widow Pam, and driven by Leif Borgerson in the water. So this heat is now being flagged off.
As the U-95 settled to the bottom of Lake Washington, we watched the death of a dream. The crew that Jim Clapp had brought together in a 2-year race against time and money had failed in their effort to revolutionize the sport of hydroplaning. Who knows what a few more dollars and a little more time might have done to speedboat racing. Well, as is normal, we had a restart of Heat 1C. In the first run, the Miss U.S. had shown her potential. The Bud had faltered, the pack was trailing, and Billy Shoemaker was still trying to get back his winning ways. But everybody got a second chance, and here's how the rerun of 1C went.
The crowd really gets electrified as Miss Budweiser leads it. The pack on the outside, a boat length back. That's how he wins. The leader. Second place, paying back.
Those two boats are dogging it, and there's the Miss U.S. dead in the north turn with fire coming out of her stacks.
The driver is not in the cockpit of the Miss U.S. He is in the water.
In the
There's
water.
the driver in the water. We
Miss
should see a
U.S.
flare.
in the water.
We have a red flag showing in the north third. We shall see a flare.
That's
We have
Tom
a
Deeth.
driver in the water.
Tom Deeth is in the water. We see no flares. We see
There they are. There they are. The race has been stopped.
There it goes. The red flare is just as I said. I don't see one. They flashed two of them out, so this heat will have to go again.
All right, up in that north turn, it's Tom Deeth in the water. He's bobbing. He's got one hand raised. His left hand is raised, waving right now.
I tell you, the pack and the Bud are still beating each other to death on that backstretch.
I hope they see Tom.
I hope they do
see
too.
him.
This could be dangerous.
The flares are visible in that north turn. I hope that they can see
Yeah,
it.
they've got the flares. The red flag is out. Both
Now they're backing off
Now
it. They're backing off it.
Safe and sound. Boy, those boats were really pushing each other to pieces up there. But the Miss U.S., which led the first time 1C was run before it was stopped, went dead in the water, and she's got smoke billowing out of that stack, and that engine is, well, it's smoking.
Tommy's still in the water. He's pointing to the boat. He's gyrating toward the boat.
Yeah.
They may
want-
possibly be
I tell you
taking
what,
on water, but he's pointing to the boat.
He's telling them to get some CO2 or something on that engine before she starts to burn. There they go.
The cockpit is also showing evidence of fire
Yeah.
inside. The crowd really
So-
waving to
Those guys are
Harry
taking their time up there, I'll tell you that. That CO2 should have been on that flame 3 minutes ago.
Vince. There it comes now. Ray, they are now shooting it at the boat. The fire, or smoke anyway, getting thicker off the cockpit and off the engine well of the Miss U.S. Now the flames are visible at the rear of the engine.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time about putting the fire out on that boat, and if I were the owner, I wouldn't like it a bit. Come on, fellas, get something on that thing. There, now she's afire. Now she's burning.
The boat has actually got visible.
And they still haven't
flame.
got CO2 on it. Come on, let's
There
go.
it goes.
There's been a lot of discussion of why the Miss U.S. was allowed to be so completely damaged by fire, and our tape says all we need to say about it. With the U-95 on the bottom and the Miss U.S. burned to the water line and the volume art withdrawn because of hull damage, only the two fastest boats were left to run in the restart of Heat 1C, and we'll have the Bud Pack duel after this.
So they're going to be really coming when they come down the line. There's no doubt about that, if they decide to put the foot down to the floorboard. That's
Looks
the
like-
only question mark,
It
really.
looks like Budweiser's not going to be sneaky about getting the
No,
inside
she's
yet.
taking way wide swing there. Both of them are going to be well back of the
Oh,
starting
he
gun.
did too slide
By
in
golly,
there.
he did. He slid on the inside, so you never know. But it looks like the pack has hit the throttle and it's going to take the lead at the start. It's a legal start. Hydroplane back first, Budweiser second. So there they go on the inside, and back by a couple of boat lengths is the Pride of Pay and Pack. Coming into the turn, or back is a Budweiser, and on the outside is the Pay and Pack. Now we'll see how much ground that the Budweiser can make on the inside or whether the pack cuts her off. They're in the south turn. This the first lap of Heat 1C. The leader is the Pay and Pack on the outside, but on the inside is the Budweiser. Closed up a little bit of ground. You see there's about 2 boat lengths separating the leader, the pack, and the Budweiser. Now he slips out to about 3 boat lengths, 4 boat lengths. So the pack is taking the lead right here on the backstretch of the first lap.
Budweiser's going to stand on the throttle into that corner.
Oh, he's closing ground. Here he comes. He ain't going to lay back at all. Here comes the Budweiser on the inside. And he is going to take the lead, Mike. He's going to take the lead. I wouldn't have believed it. He did not lay back at all. Howie Benz says, the heck with this. I'm going to go for first. So we got a heck of a boat race. 1, 2, 1, 2. Going into that north turn, slamming out at the end of lap 1. So the Budweiser is coming on the inside. She's got the lead on the outside. George Henley in the pay and pack.
Just
the crowd
gauging
appreciates it.
Just gauging the crowd reaction. They're loving it.
Now, is this altogether wise, Mike? Is this really wise to really stomp on it like this, or what?
We're looking at a unofficial 111-mile-an-hour plus for Budweiser there. That is really quite fast. I didn't think they'd really go quite that fast.
I don't either, but they are going right on each other's hip. 111.801. 111.801.
Well,
Really
let's face it, Ray. True championship is really determined by your number one effort, your best effort.
Now the pack is making a move on the outside. Look at that. You couldn't get a closer boat race.
Budweiser shows superior acceleration there on the inside, though, as a pay and back holds back maybe a boat length and a half behind it in the rooster tail.
Okay, the pack has back in the rooster tail about a boat and a half to 2 boat lengths to go to catch up the Bud, which is on the inside. Now going into the turn, we'll see if the pack can make up on the turn.
The pack is staying on the throttle into that corner now.
He certainly is. That stabilizer, that vertical or horizontal stabilizer, is a real asset when you're going into those turns. And that is not what the Budweiser is known for. But now we'll see the pack made up room on the north turn with that good stability. And now the Budweiser, see if it's got that quick acceleration. And there goes the Budweiser. That's what the fans have been waiting for all day. That's a whale of a boat race, I'll tell you. 110 plus again, 110 miles per hour plus again, and there isn't a fraction of a second separating either one of those 2 boats. Both of them riding beautifully.
Yes, they are. The course conditions are really ideal right now. They're excellent. And both boats are getting a good ride as well as showing some good speed.
Okay, in the south turn, the Bud still has the inside. The pack is on the outside, and the pack shoots out. Look at that. Now the Bud shoots. Look at that boat race. The Bud on the inside, and the pack is a whisker outside.
If they stay like this, Ray, the question is going to be who can get off that final turn first and get down to this start-finish line the fastest. They'll both be standing on the nitrous. You can bet on that.
Okay, slamming into the north turn. The Budweiser on the inside. We'll see if the pack can make up room again on the outside. Oh, if the pack had the inside, could she really make up ground? But she's got the outside. She's got the longer distance, more water to cover.
The crowd really gets electrified at this kind of dueling.
Coming up for the completion of lap number 4, the pay and pack. And George Henley stomped on the pay and pack to take the lead. So now the pack is in the lead. Going into the south turn, the Bud's still in the same position on the inside. And by golly, Mike, at the start of this race, we said, well, the Bud's going to just cruise around the outside, and she scooted on the inside, and that's primarily the reason she's where she's at.
Howie Benz has been doing that to George Henley all season long, skirting inside him. Henley takes a little bit of a wide shot, gets a little too confident that he's got that one lane, and all of a sudden, there's Howie right inside of him.
Okay, now the pack moves. Now she steps on it. Up the backstretch, dueling, right next to each other, sponson to sponson. Rooster tails identical. Now the Bud moving out. A half a boat length lead, going into the north turn. This is lap number 5.
That's a little bit loose going into that corner now.
Boats. They are walking all over the water. That's a rough ride going into that north turn. As you see, the Bud has a slight lead. The pack on the outside, the white boat. Here comes Howie Benz. He's jerking, he's pushing, he's riding that wheel.
Howie's watching over his shoulder to see where George is. He thought he got inside of him that time.
Now the Budweiser. 1 second separates the Bud from the pack. 1 second on that. And now we are in the final lap, lap number 6 of this heat, 1C. The time for the Budweiser, 113.924.
Very fast.
That's
very fast.
Okay, here they go. Very critical this south turn. The north turn will tell who wins it.
George is standing on the throttle coming out of the south turn. His RPMs are up higher than the Budweisers.
There's the pack.
Budweiser's starting to fail. Budweiser's starting to fail a little bit just for a second there, but now
the pack has got the lead. The pack on the outside. The Bud on the inside.
Now Howie Binns is going to have to stand on that throttle into the corner a little bit further. The pack can come across now with a 3 boat length lead and take the lane, the inside lane, but I don't think George is going to do that.
The pay and pack on the outside has the lead going into the final turn, the north turn of this lap 6 of Heat 1C. The Budweiser on the inside, it could still be anybody's boat race. The Bud swung wide. The Bud swung a little wide there, and the pack has definitely got the lead coming out of the north turn. Here comes the Pride of Pay and Pack. He cuts the green buoy really sharp. He's going to win it if he hangs on. The Pride of Pay and Pack. Here she comes. She wins it.
A fraction of a second loss when Howie Binns' foot slipped off the throttle in the south turn of lap 5 cost the Bud the heat and sent the pack into 2C with 400 points. And the race lead. Heat 2A was won by Northwest Tank Service, and then came Heat 2B.
There's a red flag.
We've got a
red flag out. There will be no start. And it was the pack on the inside. The Bud did stay to the outside, and the Sonny Jim was in lane 3, and away on the outside was the Atlas Van Lines. But we've got another delay here in the 1974 Gold Cup. But the clock was wrong. Oh, boy.
Yes.
Redman kept our hearts pounding in the restart of Heat 2B.
Here's the Red Man, and don't count it out yet because in 1A, this boat, or rather...
Now he got it restarted again.
Yeah, he did this 4 or 5 times, you know, stop and go.
And almost dead in the water again now in the north turn, having limped up the chute.
There she is, the Red Man. Well, considering it is Red Man tobacco, I'm safe to say that she's just spitting around the course.
She's not running up to snuff.
Right.
Look who's running again.
Yeah, the Red Man. Well, I'll be darned.
And the Red Man is dead in the water. Ray in the south corner
I'm
again.
going to count him this time. That's 3.
And Ray, the Red Man is underway again.
It's underway again. Folks, I told you the Red Man was going to do it. A coughing and a spitting up the course. There is no stopping those wild men in the Red Man. There's the gun for colorful, controversial Bill Muncie. Second place boat, Freddie Alder, the Pizza Pete. Coming out of the north turn, right at the green and yellow buoy is Miss Madison. And I don't know where the Red Man is, but it is running, wherever it is at.
It's going into the north turn, but let's watch it closely because it'll probably stop again.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
starting
stop,
to do that.
Pick up a little water for the fuel system. There he is, he stopped again. There's the Red Man.
But don't count him out, he'll get started
folks.
again.
No.
And now he's starting to get it underway again.
That's it. Motor gets hot, you got to cool it off.
Tommy has to rest now and again, you know. Every turn we stop and we just take account of ourselves, then start her up again and go ahead.
Here's your winner, Bill Muncie. It is moving, friends. The Red Man is moving. It is moving. Look at her go. Hey, the Red Man is... Come on, keep going. That's it. So, all the boats are in the pits except this flashing red, silver, white, magnificent craft called the Red Man. She stops. She goes. She stops. She goes.
There's a dramatic story right now. The Red Man has gone dead in the water about 10 feet from the finish line. Now he pokes his nose across. Red Man has finished.
We'll have the final run for the Gold Cup after this.
It's 10 after 8 here in Seattle, and the Unlimited Hydroplane Network is broadcasting this sport nationwide. And clear back in New York, Unlimiteds, for the first time in history, are competing with Johnny Carson.
The final run for the Gold Cup shaped up like this. Under the fan plan, Kirby Classic won the right to move from the slow flight into the final. Atlas Van Lines, with 2 victories in the B section, moved into the finals along with Pizza Pete, and E. Milner Irvin III in the Miss Madison. The Bud and the Pack, the only boats running from the C flight, made up the 6-boat field.
And there's a mess of them up there, and they're all going to start. It looks like no boat is dead, so that means the Sonny Jim is out of it. And on the inside would be the Budweiser, lane 2 would be the Pay and Pack, lane 3 would be the Atlas, lane 4 would be the Pizza Pete, lane 5 the Miss Madison, on the green outside. On the inside, it's the Budweiser, lane 2, the Pride of Pay and Pack, lane 3, the Atlas, Lane 4, it is the Pizza Pete. Lane 5, the Miss Madison on the extreme outside, the Kirby Classic. Slamming into this, the first turn of lap number 1. The Budweiser on the inside. Howie Binns at the wheel. The Pay and Pack in second place on the outside, and followed closely in the rooster tail of Bill Muncie in the Atlas Van Lines. Then comes the Madison, the Pizza Pete, and the Kirby Classic. Coming out of the backstretch, the Pack on the outside. She's dancing on her sponsons. Oh, we got a boat race again.
It's the Pay and Pack Budweiser duel, just like it has been all along. And
Look
the
at that
Budweiser is
accelerate.
really honking on it. Whoa, the Bud gets loose. Oh my gosh, he really gets loose.
Oh, he was walking all over the place, but he's got his foot all the way down. Howie Binns on the inside. George Henley from Eatonville on the outside. The Bud, the Pack, the Bud, the Pack. It's going according to the script.
Oh, the Madison also jumping there, and Bill Muncie slows it right down as he goes over that piece of bad water. No point in trying to run it.
So, coming out of the north turn of the first lap, it's the Budweiser on the inside and the Pay and Pack on the outside. In third place, way back, is the Atlas Van Lines. Now comes the Pay and Pack. There's your leader. Pay and Pack on the outside has the lead. Belching smoke, dancing on her sponsons. The Budweiser on the inside. And back you see the rooster tail of the Atlas Van Lines. And far back in the field, the Madison, the Pizza Pete, and Kirby Classic. But here's your boat race. Number 1 on the inside is the Budweiser. On the outside, Pay and Pack. Pay and Pack on the outside. Budweiser on the inside. The Pay and Pack's time, 107.784. 107.784. But on the inside with a slight lead. But here comes the acceleration of George Henley. He takes the lead on the outside. We've got a whale of a boat race in this lap 2 of the final heat for the 1974 Gold Cup. Here comes the Budweiser.
Let's watch and see if that Budweiser gets loose on the inside again like she did the last time she was really flying, and she's starting to do it again.
1-2, 1-2. The Bud of the Pack, the Bud of the Pack. The Bud with the leads. Going into the north turn of lap 2. The Budweiser has a slight lead on the inside. The Pack on the outside, right on her hip. What a boat race we have got here. Just like 1C. In the north turn, coming out of the north turn, around the green and the yellow buoy. And the crowd on the beach, oh, whoa! Oh, they came close, Mike. They came awful close.
Yeah,
as
they
the
sure
Pack
did.
Accelerates.
And Howie Binns backed off in just a second as they did, too. And he's lost a lot of ground as a result.
4 seconds divide the Pack and the Bud. The Pack and the Bud, and the Budweiser is coughing and spitting going into the south turn, and she's falling back. The Atlas Van Lines is in third place. The Pizza Pete is taking over third place. Excuse me, Pizza Pete is in third place with Madison in fourth place. So something's happened to Muncie. Muncie is way back in fifth place, and the Kirby Classic is bringing up the end of the field.
George Henley really showing superior acceleration,
That's
showing a refined driving talent that has got that rookie Howie Binns really confused coming out of that one corner there. Howie had to back off it. He just couldn't keep that pace.
Now the Kirby Classic is just in the north turn, and the Pay and Pack is going to lap the Kirby Classic right now, the sixth place boat. As he goes into the north turn, the Budweiser has dropped back considerably from that dogfight they had the first 2 laps.
Now here's a look at professional courtesy. Bill Worcester gets out of the Pay and Pack's way, way out of his way. But the Pack is now closing ground on the last place boat and could lap Bill Muncie in the Atlas Van Lines. I wonder if Bill Muncie's ever been lapped.
Here comes the green flag. George Henley gets the green flag, which means 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go for the Pay and Pack. That's a look at Muncie going into the south turn. The Pay and Pack is right behind her. Okay, there's the leader with a 15-second lead over the Budweiser. That's the entrance buoy to the south turn. He's in the south turn. 1 more turn after this, and Henley's got the cup.
Pizza Pete in third place, putting on a good show. Freddie Alder always steady. That's probably why he's got his name that way. He's always in there and running hard.
And that's the Miss Madison, currently in fourth position, ahead of the Atlas Van Lines, which is riding in fifth position. That's the Budweiser, 15 seconds behind the Pay and Pack. The Budweiser coming out of the south turn, which puts the Pay and Pack up the backstretch. The Pay It Pack is now halfway around for lap number 6. One more turn to go. One more run for the finish line. Slamming into the north turn is Bill Muncie. Right on his rooster tail is the Pay It Pack.
The Madison's going sick. Miss
going
Madison
dead in
is
the water.
going sick and dead in the water here on the straight chute. Milner
make
Irvin
any
gets up
difference
and looks
because-
back over his shoulder to be sure nobody is.
All right,
on
here
his
he
tail.
comes out of the north turn. The Pride of Pay It Pack way in the back. There he is. The boat's in front of him. He could lap them, but it isn't necessary. Here he comes. The Pride of Pay It Pack is going to go all the way. Undefeated today. The Pride of Pay It Pack wins the 1974 Gold Cup.